Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in our beautiful, divine Indonesia Pavilion. For those who just joined in this session, again, welcome to Indonesia Pavilion. It's a great pleasure to have you here. So, ladies and gentlemen, archipelagic and island states across the global face challenges as a result of climate change. In particular, rising sea level, ocean warming, marine heat waves, and etc. And if these global issues are not adequately addressed at appropriate scales, all AIS countries face the risk of long-term sustainability. Therefore, a comprehensive strategy and urgent action on multiple fronts needed to tackle this crisis head-on. Without further delay, let's go on to it by inviting our moderator, Ms. Stacy Alvarez de la Campa. She's the researcher of Caribbean Climate Justice Academy Lead at Island Innovation Barbados.
Hello, testing. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Okay, it's great to be here. So, good afternoon to our distinguished speakers, excellencies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. We are very glad to welcome you to the AIS high-level dialogue entitled Rising Tides, Sinking Islands, the AIS Forum's call to action on climate loss and damage. This program is organized by the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment of the Republic of Indonesia in collaboration with the Archipelagic and Island States Forum. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce myself. I know I've been introduced by the MC, but I'd just like to say again, my name is Stacy Alvarez de la Campa. I am the lead facilitator of the Caribbean Climate Justice Leaders Academy at Island Innovation, and it is my distinct pleasure to be the moderator for this event. I say that from my heart because I had the privilege of being in Bali earlier this year in October, where I attended and participated in the Startup Blue Business Summit and the Youth Conference for AIS. And I can say it was incredibly inspiring to see the way that there was true inter-regional collaboration at that conference. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all, and we really do appreciate you taking time out from your busy conference schedules to join us today, and we promise it will be well worth it. So thank you once again. So please, before we go on, I'd just like to remind you to fill out the attendance form by scanning the barcode that we have. The barcode should be on the screen. It should be available to you nearby. And we've promised that with this barcode, you can find out much more about the really exciting initiatives that have been created by the AIS. Okay, I'd like to invite you now to view a video from the AIS Forum or Collaboration Program, so the video will now be played.
The climate crisis is a fact that we can no longer deny. Communities around the world are responding. With solidarity, we can improve. We can save lives. We can protect our assets, minimize our losses, and adapt to the challenges of climate change. As a platform for collaboration, AIS Forum is committed to initiating strategic solutions that deliver a direct impact on the environment. AIS countries share similar marine environment issues. Our concrete actions focus on providing solutions to the most pressing issues, involving strategic partners to collectively combat these challenges. With this, we foster the spirit of solidarity into a variety of programs in 4 key areas. We aim to provide research opportunities for academics to tackle the issues AIS countries face. We are committed to initiating a strategic financing framework, disseminating information, and involving the public in open dialogue to select relevant projects. We have connected entrepreneurship, expanding startup ecosystems, grown together, and capture new market share, mainly for archipelagic and island state countries. We believe that multicultural cooperation and collaboration are the keys to scaling up concrete action, driven by the role of multiple stakeholders and youth to achieve SDGs in AIS countries. The success of the AIS Forum depends on horizontal relationships forged by equality. We need collective contributions from the government to civil society to provide smart and innovative solutions for significant action together. Because as an islander, you are part of the action. Let's foster collaboration, enabling innovation.
Oh, thank you so much. That video was wonderful, and it really did show the way that as islanders, we can collaborate and really make this world a more robust place.
As islanders, each of us have wonderful stories about our home islands, the sea, the ocean, and its glory. But now, our home islands are facing existential threats. From the Pacific, Atlantic to Indian Oceans, we share the same environmental challenges. And we need to rise to these challenges hand in hand, together. The AIS Forum is committed to facing these challenges with what humankind knows best: collaboration and innovation. We foster collaboration to identify and work towards concrete action, enable innovative solutions to achieve sustainable development, improve coastal livelihoods, and restoring ocean health. In 4 years, the AIS Forum has transformed ideas into action. Funding for sustainability sources. We have made significant progress in the last 5 years, and the next step we will go further, advancing the forum to a higher level of capacity and capabilities, and accelerating blue economy through digital innovation. And we think there is plenty of room for hope for action in the next 5 years. Together, archipelagic and island states can be part of the solution to preserve the lives and livelihoods of islanders everywhere. So the stories about our beloved home islands and the beauty of its surrounding waters can live on forevermore.
Thank you all so much again for your attention and your patience. And I will say that those videos truly show that the multi-stakeholder and holistic approach that is being exemplified by the AIS Forum is really breaking down barriers and catalyzing meaningful action. So distinguished speakers, again, excellencies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, Having this dialogue on rising tides and sinking islands, the AIS Forum's call to action on climate loss and damage is a crucial step in fostering concrete actions, innovative technologies, and robust policies, all of which are geared towards shaping a more adaptable and sustainable future for archipelagic and island states. This discussion highlights the commitment of the AIS Forum's participating countries following the adoption of the Leaders' Declaration on the Solidarity of the Archipelagic and Island States during the first high-level meeting in Bali last October. This meeting was a plea for global awareness, collaboration, and immediate intervention. Today, we are honored to listen to our distinguished panelists share with us their knowledge and expertise on climate resilience, discuss ocean-based initiatives, and outline a call to action on climate loss and damage in the AIS arenas. I would now like to introduce the distinguished panelists and invite them to be on stage. We will have the honor of the presence of His Excellency Adelino Afonso Fernandez Rosa Cardosa, the Minister of Infrastructure, National Resources and Environment of Sao Tome and Principe. He is running a bit late, but we will get the chance to welcome him. Next on the stage, I would like to welcome His Excellency Flavia P. Jobert, the Minister of Agriculture, Climate Change and the Environment of the Republic of the Seychelles. Next, I would like to welcome His Excellency Amina Yavoli, the Ambassador of the Republic of Fiji to the Republic of Indonesia. And we will round up our distinguished company with Mr. Jody Marathi, the Deputy Coordinating Minister for Maritime Sovereignty and Energy, Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment of the Republic of Indonesia. Thank you so much, gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you all. So we'll kick off the discussion by just mentioning the effects of climate change, and particularly on island nations, are a matter of global concern. And today we gather here to discuss the impacts of rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and other climate-related challenges faced by archipelagic and island states. Our distinguished speakers will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to shed light on these issues, and most importantly, empower us through the discussion of meaningful solutions. So at this point, I would like to turn the floor over to His Excellency Flavien P. Joubert, the Minister of Agriculture, Climate Change and the Environment of the Republic of Seychelles. Hello.
Good morning.
Let's see if we need to turn that on.
Good morning. You on? Okay.
That's a bit better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to start off by just asking you a couple of questions, and you can share your wealth of knowledge and expertise. So we know that the Seychelles does have a focus on the blue economy, and that is a phrase that we hear a lot. But can you elaborate on how the Seychelles is integrating climate resilience into its blue economy strategies?
Okay, good morning. Thank you, moderator, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. First, let me congratulate Indonesia for continuing to maintain momentum under the AIS and also maintaining the spirit of solidarity with other island states. It's quite impressive what you have been doing. And also the subject matter that we're discussing today, sinking islands, I think it comes for us at a very appropriate time, where in fact this very week we are starting to see a lot of coastal flooding around Seychelles. And the explanation that we've been given is that it might have to do with the very active El Nino with climate change on top of it. So we are starting to see a lot of coastal flooding without any storms, without anything. There are spots around the Seychelles coast that are flooding. They've been flooding last week, they flooded this week, and we know they would be flooding again in the coming years or so. So for us, it is very important to maintain this effort to protect the blue economy and also encourage other countries to have ambition when it comes to climate. The blue economy in Seychelles is, as you've said, it's mentioned all the time. What are we doing about it? We see the blue economy as a means to protect our future. We are focusing on several aspects of the marine environment and its management. One is about protecting the blue carbon stocks that we have. We aim to protect the seagrass and mangrove ecosystems 100% by 2030. We're already at about 82% of the seagrass. And we hope that by 2030, we'll come in with measures to protect all of the seagrass and mangrove ecosystems, because we understand the importance of those ecosystems to helping to mitigate against global emissions of carbon, even if we are not a net emitter. The other one is to manage the natural habitats that we have for the benefit of the economy, the people of Seychelles, but also for the benefit of the world. Just this week, we had news that Seychelles had welcomed back blue whales. This is one of the spots in the world where blue whales are actually coming back, and it's a positive news for all of us, not just for Seychelles, but for all of us. The sanctuary that we've been maintaining all this time, the 32% that we set aside in our EZ, is actually proving beneficial to marine species, and it is showing signs of success. So for us, we have to show ambition, we have to exchange with other countries, and we have to share this spirit of being ambitious. And if we are all ambitious in our own separate ways, we would see results. The other thing that we are doing in terms of the blue economy is managing maritime activity in a very holistic manner. We have a marine special plan that should be legal by the middle of next year. And we've been doing a lot of work to try and reconcile all the different activities under that marine special plan. And we hope that with such a plan and the fisheries plan, we'll have better management of all the activities and also all the resources within the EEZ of Seychelles, so that we don't end up over-exploiting or damaging what we have. Because we would like to keep it for the future, and we don't want to be excessive in the way we exploit the maritime environment. So for us, the blue economy is central to our thinking in terms of economy, and it's also central to our thinking in terms of environment protection for the future, and also our contribution towards the world. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. And I would like to touch on your mention of seagrass and mangroves and just follow up on that a little bit. I think there we can know the importance of the local communities in that search for building that resilience. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're helping those local communities to build the resilience?
Well, we've had at least 2 projects, mapping the seagrass and also creating much more better understanding of seagrass ecosystems among the local population. In fact, one of the things that we realized is that there is not even a local name for seagrass. There was not a local name for seagrass. And last year, we had several interactive sessions with the population, and we were able to come up with local names. So now we're able to identify the seagrass ecosystems, identify the species, and understand the value of those ecosystems. So through these exercises, the population, they've been informed and they've been educated about what seagrass beds mean. A lot of people, they just thought they were just seaweed or weeds. But for many of us who know about seagrass, we understand that it's not just weeds. It's important, and it's actually a keystone species within the marine environment. So for us, it is important that we get the population on board, we get them to understand and appreciate the effort that's been made and understand the value. And one of the things that we saw happening is that when it comes to coastal developments now, you have a lot more coastal communities crying out, do not destroy the seagrass while you do your development. This was not there in the past. So now they know, they realize the value of seagrass to the marine environment, they realize the value of seagrass to the stability of the coast itself, and now they are very much alert to any activity that might lead to damage to those ecosystems. For us, it is 100% beneficial, and we think that through that approach, we can actually create a lot more, a lot more willingness to protect the natural ecosystems through the local population, just by engaging them and just by making them understand what's in there for them. So it is an exemplary exercise, and we think it's an approach that we should replicate for other types of ecosystems like forest, coastal forest, etc., etc. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for telling us about that example and showing us the way that as we empower local communities, it has an incredible regional and even international effects. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, we will now move the floor over. We're going to engage in some dialogue with His Excellency Amina Yavoli, the Ambassador of the Republic of Fiji to the Republic of Indonesia. We're very happy to have you here, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much. So I'd like to ask you, first of all, regarding Fiji and or vulnerability to rising sea levels. Can you share a specific example of loss and damage and adaptation strategies that you have in place?
Thank you, moderator, and welcome, and thank you to all delegates that's attending this important side event this afternoon. Allow me also to thank the AIS Forum Secretariat through the ministry, the coordinating ministry, Pat Jody and the team, for inviting me to be part of this important discussions today. For us, as a founding member of the AIS Forum, it's important for us, to continue to support the work of this forum in view of its important objectives to support small island developing states or the island states like Seychelles and Fiji in the AIS Forum. We are a small country. We only have 300 islands relative to Indonesia. They have 17,000. For us, so in terms of land mass, it's much, much smaller. But we are located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So if you look at the map of the Pacific Ocean, you'll see Fiji is right in the middle. We pride ourselves as the hub of the Pacific. You connect to Fiji if you want to go anywhere else to the Pacific. That's a fact. It's not boasting, it's a fact. So with the questions that has been posed, for us it's sea level rise is becoming a common, it's not common, it's an existential threat for us, just like climate change. We've got communities that have been relocated precisely for the reason of rising sea levels. The government, my government of Fiji has already worked with these communities to relocate them because it affects their livelihoods. Their sustainable agriculture practices has been totally affected because of coastal inundation by sea waters. As you can see in the projections, it's going to rise by 1.5 meters. We are already experiencing that in Fiji and also in some islands in the Pacific. The rising sea level has threatened our local habitats. Houses has been inundated, local communities, by seawater. I went to a particular community when I was in Fiji, was it 2 years ago? I went to this rural community of Fiji. During high tide, the water was just sweeping right into this family home. So with the support of our partners like the European Union, we have relocated half of this community to higher ground. See, for us, the threat imposed by sea level rise, it leads on to other challenges for us. If you relocate a community, we have to sort out the issue of land tenure system. Whose land are we relocating them? So it also breeds in other challenges like security issues for the long term. So these are some of the add-on challenges that we do face when we are threatened by sea level rise. So far, it's more than 40 communities that's already been relocated, you can see, from lower grounds to higher grounds. But again, we're trying to do adaptations ourselves. One of the issues like Seychelles, they're replanting seagrass. For us, we're looking at mangroves. To plant mangroves or to promote nature-based ecosystems to protect or preserve our coastal areas, without which it will be very, very difficult. So with assistance through the AIS Forum Secretariat and the government of Indonesia, we are looking at strengthening, building our coastal lines through nature-based solutions. So it is something that we will continuously have to face, like in other island states. For Fiji in particular, it is really a rising challenge for us. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you for bringing alive the effects that climate change is having and the way that these effects create a domino effect of issues. And that's why they're so urgent. So in light of that, I'd like to ask a follow-up question. In terms of COP28, what outcomes or commitments would Fiji like to see emerge from these discussions to properly address these urgent concerns you've outlined?
Thank you. Right now, in the discussions on the GGA, the adaptations, global commitments on adaptations, Fiji is actively engaging in this discussion so that appropriate and effective measures are put in place to address the situations that we do face as small island developing states or as members of AIS Forum. One of the particular issues, as I said earlier, is the issue of adaptation. Adaptation requires sustainable financing. For those of you following the financing negotiations, you will see that the tracks is becoming very, very difficult for us to showcase our needs for doubling of adaptation finance into situations like we do face in small island developing states. So dedicated financing mechanisms is really important. Particularly through adaptation, to help us strengthen our resilience and building our positive responses, particularly through nature-based systems, and also some infrastructure systems that will help us in the medium to the long term. So finance is one, and the second one is adaptation, as I mentioned earlier. And I think the third aspect of it is the importance of enhancing partnership, engaging countries that are already doing this. And I always point towards Indonesia because I'm based in Indonesia. And I've seen it in my naked eyes how Indonesia is doing their adaptation plans and the way in which they think long-term for sustainable protection of their coastal areas. Planting mangroves, they have some form of infrastructure, rocks and all those things. These are the sort of modalities that we're looking at which we can replicate and learn from to undertake in my own country, Fiji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for that. And thank you for showing us again the importance of collaboration and how we'll all be stronger for that. Thank you. So I think it's apt now for me to turn over and to continue the dialogue with our distinguished guest, Mr. Jody Mahardi, the Deputy Coordinating Minister for Maritime Sovereignty and Energy of the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment of the Republic of Indonesia. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir. So I would like to ask you, first of all, that how does the Republic of Indonesia advocate for solidarity on climate loss and damage and develop joint initiatives in response to these challenges?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think that was the reason why we initiated the Archipelagic and Island States Forum. Yeah. But having initiated this forum doesn't mean that this forum belongs to Indonesia only. This is a forum of solidarity among the archipelagic and island states. That was the whole idea of establish the Archipelagic and Island States Forum. It was first initiated back in 2018, and from then on, we continue to have a series of senior official meetings and ministerial meetings. And this year was the first time we had the first high-level meeting attended by our leaders, presidents and prime ministers. So the idea of AIS Forum is a strategic forum for sharing of knowledge and expertise among the island states. Yeah, because no one country, even Indonesia, we are blessed with 17,500 islands and rapid economic growth. But we, although the largest archipelagic island states, we do not have all the answers to our challenges. And I think as island states, we are facing the same challenges and threats, including the sea level rise. It will definitely have a big impact on our island states. And I think by having this forum to share best expertise and knowledge is one of a strategic way to us help ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we cannot relying on developed states or developed economies, but we have to rely on ourselves. So That's what sets us apart from other forum maybe, yeah, because we emphasize on the need for concrete initiative, concrete projects, not rocket science projects, but we want to focus on concrete projects. That's something that can be done by the communities themselves. So we focus on train the trainers, so whenever we have program like we had recently in Madagascar and Fiji, we bought some trainers, for example, on the floating fish net. Yeah, it was actually, we were surprised that it was the first one in the Pacific. It's something simple in Indonesia. We have it in almost all islands. So that the communities can collect the fish without having to fish on the wild, on the ocean. They can collect from the floating fish net. But we introduced that to Fiji, and hopefully we're going to see this scale up and replicate to other areas in the Pacific. Yeah. So this kind of small and concrete initiatives are the very backbone of the Archipelagic and Island States Forum, and what sets us apart, that we have to take action. We cannot wait for the developed countries, whatever, commitments, some pledges, but we want to take concrete actions, and that's what sets AIS apart, I think.
Thank you so much for that. I think it's great you mentioned how we are set apart and we are providing kind of like a leading voice in how to make a difference and how to make things happen. We do appreciate that. So in terms of that, in terms of international cooperation, what role does Indonesia see itself playing in fostering an international cooperation, especially with the non-AIS countries? Do you see us as having a role?
Yeah, we are, the AIS Forum, we are open also to collaboration with other non-island states. And I kept telling our friends of AIS, we call them friends of AIS, that you don't need to contribute funding, because Indonesia itself, we are ready. The president has, during the last high-level meeting, has declared his commitment to fund AIS in the long term. But what we need is their expertise, sharing of knowledge, sharing of expertise, sharing of technology. And then the secretariat also with collaboration, they're working closely with, they are part of UNDP also. We developed the program and the initiatives and the implementation of the program. Yeah. But so far we have some concrete actions already, like we have disbursed around 200,000 of US dollars of research grants just this year, yeah, and 430,000 scholarship for 15% of the AIS member states, yeah, just this year. And I mentioned earlier about sharing of expertise and practices. We organized 150 sessions because nowadays it's easy, with online, since the pandemic, everything is done online. So this become a benefit for AIS, yeah, how we work, and we have through this 150 session, we have organized we have involved around 3,000 individuals. Yeah. And we also have the AIS Blue Startup Hub. Yeah. So this is a hub for sharing of knowledge among the startups of the AIS member states. And through these startups, yeah, we have secured around 2.8 million US dollars in saving for the low-income customers, reducing 200 million marine plastic debris and replacing about 125,000 plastic food containers per month. Yeah. Those are just some of the examples. Yeah. But also what is important about the collaboration through AIS, we want to unify the voices of the island states, yeah. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, we face the same threat, we face the same challenges, no matter how big our economy is. Indonesia may be the largest, but but we still face the same challenges, like Ambassador mentioned, with just a little bit of sea level rise, some islands could be disappear, yeah. And for us, we are blessed with 17,000 islands, Excellency, we could move around, but for some states, in the smaller states, that's the question that we have to have a unified voice in the international forum to say what, out loud what we need. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I loved your emphasis on collaboration. And coming from a small island myself, Barbados in the Caribbean, I know that some of those islands would indeed face a peril of rising sea level. So we do really appreciate your example of cooperation amongst yourselves. Thank you. So thank you so much to our speakers. I would love to open the floor now. We will have a question and answer session and an open dialogue. And we would love to have you, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise the questions to our distinguished guests and speakers.
Moderator, if I can just
yes,
add on
please,
to what
please do.
Jody has just alluded to earlier. Addressing the ocean climate nexus really requires an approach that transcends borders, particularly for island states. We cannot continue to demarcate by borders. I think it needs to transcend beyond borders and ideologies and sectors for seamless transition, as Jody has mentioned. And in that, Fiji continues to reiterate the call for global cooperation, as you said earlier, Madam Moderator, to uphold the commitments enshrined in the Paris Agreement and the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. This is really, really critical for global bindings so that the issues of the AIS Forum member states, particularly the island states, continues to be protected or preserved. And we must expedite efforts to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is a critical message for us, recognizing the role of oceans in mitigating climate change. So I agree with Jody. In terms of demonstrations of practical and pragmatic approaches, they have some very good good practices that needs to be replicated. Fiji has benefited from some of this. He mentioned about this fishing, the floating fish nets in one of the smaller islands in Fiji. So we hope to replicate that to support our food security system. If we are not only food security, but nutritional security as well. So this is something that we are learning from this AIS Forum through our international cooperation. And I sincerely appreciate the lead by the Indonesian government in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate those remarks. I did not get the sense there were questions at this time. I would like to, oh great, I'd like to direct a question to the front. I'll bring the mic for you if you like.
That's why, thank you for your questions. Yeah. Our focus is not on rocket science projects. Yeah. We want something, initiative projects that are, can be, what do you call it, a community-based initiatives. Yeah. So most of our programs, we focus on sending trainers. Yeah, trainers, so they train the trainers in the member states of AIS receiving this program initiative. So it's not some programs or initiative that require a lot of high capital, you know, but this can be easily modeled by the communities. They can do it themselves, you know, and so we want to focus on those small-scale initiatives, but something impactful. That's the approach of the AIS Forum. But again, the government of Indonesia, we have allocated also our substantial from our national budget to support the longevity and the sustainability of the AIS Forum. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions from the audience? Please feel free. We have a mic to circulate if you wish.
Thank you. I believe I heard there was a lot of noise and some music, so I'll just ask the question. I have written an article about deep sea mining, and I'd like to hear from you if there is collaboration in the different countries about your approach to what is taking place with respect to deep sea mining.
Thank you. We are based in the Indian Ocean, so and in our area, deep sea mining is still at a very early sort of exploratory stage. The position of Seychelles is very simple. We don't know enough about the impacts of deep sea mining. We don't know enough about the habitats where we intend to do deep sea mining. And we think that the world should study this subject a bit more and also come in with certain rules and boundaries to what you can do when you do deep sea mining if you ever decide to do it. So for us, we don't see any reason why we should proceed in our area with deep sea mining concessions right now. We think there should be more knowledge and there should be more global standards for this kind of activity before we can proceed. A very simple, straightforward, precautionary approach we're taking. Hopefully in the future things might change or not, and then we'll make another decision at that point. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, sir.
I think if
Would anyone else like any questions? Or sure.
If I can add to the Madam for the seabed mining, Indonesia is one of the key participants in the negotiation of the International Seabed Authority Convention on the international seabed mining, and we are open for collaboration, but again, like the minister mentioned earlier, we still continue the study on how its impact on the environment. But I can say that the government is open for collaboration in international seabed mining, and how it can benefit not only the developed nations, but also for the island states. If they become part of this, they can maybe have some revenue potential if they participate in this international seabed mining with the right partner, with the right technology partner. So we are exploring also an area in the Clapperton zone right now, but it's not yet done decision, but we continue to study the opportunity there and how it's going to also what do you call it? How it could the deep sea mining could be an alternative to the land-based mining, and is it environmentally friendlier or environmentally safer? Then that's the study that we are doing right now.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Because I did write an article that's been published it's an academic article on the issue of deep sea mining and what the International Seaboard might consider. So I'll just leave my card with people. Okay.
Thank you so much for that. And I think it is really empowering to hear that Minister Joubert as well as Mr. Mahardi emphasize that kind of collaborative but cautionary approach, and that it's really wise to do that in a way that will pave the way for there to be a sustainable benefit from all of this that's happening. So thank you all so much for that. I'd like to ask, are there any more questions from the audience at this point? I get the sense not. So right now I'd like to invite our distinguished speakers to bring their closing remarks. I'd like to start with you, Minister Joubert, if you have any closing remarks or comments for our audience.
Thank you. Well, from my side, I would like to echo what my colleague from Indonesia just mentioned. The idea that we don't have to wait for resources to start flowing, despite the fact that we are here asking for adequate financing, asking for funds for loss and damage. We don't have to wait until those resources start coming our way for us to start acting. Find some tangible, credible solutions that can be shared amongst different countries, and let's start moving today. So for me, it's a question of encouraging each other, working within different forums. AIS is one, but there are other forums, and collaborate internationally amongst countries of the South, amongst island states. Let's find ways to make progress on climate, and let's not use the lack of progress at the international level as a reason for us not to move. So for me, we have to encourage each other. We have to keep moving. We have to be forward-looking. And I would encourage all of us in the room from different parts of the world to consider how, in addition to what we are doing, we can do other things to help each other make progress. So it has to be a positive message, despite the fact that things are not moving at the international level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Over to you, Ambassador Yavoli. Any closing thoughts from you?
Yes, I would also like to end with that note that international cooperation and partnership is really, really important to form this solid platform to enhance our respective resilience objectives. As island states, we cannot wait. We cannot wait for the world to come to us. We have to look at practical and pragmatic solutions that can be able to strengthen our resilience and our response to sea level rise. So I will continue to foresee a much more strengthened platform through the AIS Forum, particularly through the South-South cooperation, to enhance and complement private sector resources and public resources that can be deployed to meet our needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And over to Minister Mahardi. We'd love to hear your parting thoughts.
Thank you. I think I'm just going to echo what the minister and ambassador has mentioned, that the need for, we don't need to wait for the international community to, to start paying a really serious attention on the matter of sea level rise and how it's going to impact the island states. But we can take actions right now, and that's the whole idea, the whole strategy of AIS Forum, that we want to focus on concrete and tangible initiatives that can benefit the communities that directly, and that the communities can do themselves on the long run. They don't need to lend, to ask for something from some donors, but they can do it themselves. So that's the focus that we want to do through AIS, focus on concrete and tangible initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to the Honourable Ministers, Ambassadors, and Your Excellencies, and the audience for this insightful discussion. I think that we could see... Thank you so much. I think it's sessions such as this that are really going to transform discussions on climate loss and damage into really empowering sessions of celebrations of climate resilience and regeneration. So thank you all for exemplifying that so much for us. Okay, at this point, we are going to have a photo session. We're going to have our speakers move off the stage into the area towards the back. And thank you again so much.
I would kindly ask all the distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, to please stay on the stage. We're going to have a group photo, op together. Okay, thank you very much. We just learned the solidarity and collaboration of all AIS members in addressing various climate change challenges. So when all island members in the archipelagic nations unite and collectively seeking innovative solutions, there will be a way. So thank you very much for all the audience for engaging in this very insightful discussions. We're going to move on to the next panel discussion.